Good morning, it's October 27th, and this is to my liberal friends. If the public would just listen, they would know that Bidenomics is working for them. If you don't believe that, then you would be in the majority of Americans. But you would also be told by the Biden team and their friends in the liberal media that you just don't understand. You're just not smart enough to understand how this works. The mantra of the left-leaning media these days are that you're being misinformed by media outlets like Fox News. They forget that Fox News has the highest ratings in the media, and not only angers them, it forced them to belittle and degrade Fox News simply because more and more Americans are tuning in and listening. And when that happens, it means that more and more Americans are not listening to them, and that's not just acceptable. After all, they are the more intelligent, and they will tell you what you should believe and how you should think. There are countless examples of the frustration within the liberal media and the Democratic Party that expects the media to be their cheerleaders. In the latest ABC Ipsos poll, Biden's job approval ratings on handling, quote, immigration and the situation at the U.S. border is 26%, with 70% disapproval. That's a net minus 44, and 33% on handling crime with 64% disapproval. That hurts the Democrats not just on those particular issues, but also by bolstering their image as a party that tolerates, if not facilitates, social disorder. But to the Biden team and their buddies in the media, the border is secure, and you should not pay any attention to the videos you might see on a conservative media outlet that shows thousands of illegal immigrants crossing the border on a daily basis. But the border is just one issue, albeit one that Americans can see for themselves, and those living in large urban areas are finally getting a taste of what was once a border town issue. Ask the people of New York, where the city has been forced to commandeer hotels to house immigrants, where valuable fiscal resources have been diverted to take care of these illegal immigrants. They're seeing it firsthand, and they don't like it, and they're blaming Joe Biden. And that confounds the White House staff and their pals in the media. But it spills over into other issues as well. In a new CNBC survey, Biden's approval rating on the economy is an abysmal 32%, with 63% disapproving. This includes some very low ratings among some groups that Democrats have to rely on in 2024. Just 35% of young 18 to 34-year-old voters, and among Latinos. And that's where the working class problem. 31% approval among high school graduates or less, 34% among those with some college, and only 32% of those who identify as either low income or working class. The latter figure includes a 27% rating among low income working class whites, and more surprisingly, an anemic 39% among low income working class non-whites. That's not exactly what the Biden administration had in mind when they started their Bidenomics offensive. Even more alarming of all, among voters who currently say they're undecided between Biden and Trump for 2024, Biden's approval rating on the economy is just 13%. 13%! That doesn't bode well for moving those undecideds into Biden's column. Well, national polls are a snapshot of the country as a whole, but more importantly to those running campaigns are polling data from the swing states. And I'm talking about the 6 to 7 states that will actually decide the next election. In a survey of 5,000 voters across 7 swing states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, Morning Consult found that about 3/4 of the voters believe the nation's economy is headed down the wrong track, and that on net, voters are likely to think their personal financial situation was better under Trump than Biden. And in a direct hit to the Bidenomics campaign, about half of swing state voters say Bidenomics, the economic policy of the Biden administration, has been bad for the economy, compared to just 26% who say it's been good for the economy, and 10% say it has no impact. Among those currently undecided between Biden and Trump for 2024, views are even more negative. Only 2% say Bidenomics has been good for the economy. Now, I've talked about this before. The Biden team likes to point to the low unemployment numbers, and after yesterday's economic growth numbers, they will crow about how good the economy is under Bidenomics. But they're not living in the real world where the American public has to survive. They watched inflation run up to 9% and prices of everything explode. The American public has to go to the grocery store and be in shock at the prices. They laugh when they hear liberal economists say that inflation's coming down because they know the prices in the stores are not coming down. Bill Galston put it into terms everyone can understand with an article on Tuesday in the Wall Street Journal. It was entitled, $8.99 Cereal Could Rock the Globe. He talked about how more than 56% of people measure the state of the economy by the prices they have to pay for things they need to buy. One Illinois housewife said, quote, I almost had a heart attack the other day when I saw a box of cereal for $8.99. I was like, does that come with a gallon of milk too? End quote. She, like other shoppers, have seen prices on some items in grocery stores soar as much as 35 to 40%. And I admit that I'm pretty much addicted to Diet Pepper Zero, and the cost of a 12-pack has just almost doubled. I keep saying I'm going to quit drinking it, and my wife just laughs as I cart several 12-packs into the house. Food is the only part of the picture. The average buyer of a new car in America paid $48,000 in July 23, up from about $37,000 in 2019. To be sure, the bulk of the increase occurred in 2020 and 21. Still, new car prices today are 31% higher than they were 4 years ago. The pace of price increase has slowed, but prices haven't come down, even though pandemic-related supply chain problems have abated. Biden's solution is to go out and buy a $70,000 electric vehicle. Then you have to take the rising interest rates that have driven up the cost of a new house. Not only have the price of new homes skyrocketed due to inflation, but now you can't afford to even consider buying one because the monthly mortgage has more than doubled with a mortgage rate of 8%. A double whammy. And this is the conundrum that Joe Biden and his allies in the media find themselves. They want you to ignore your own eyes and pocketbooks and just believe them whenever they say everything's okay. But I will give the public more credit than they do and acknowledge that the public will not be fooled. And that's bad news for Joe Biden. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.